the night with a light from above.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, it is time for Veterans News, a special 1 hour Veterans News today. Hank Whittier is in the studio. Good morning, Hank.
Well, that's the good news, and the better news, it's not a whole hour with Hank. It's Dr. Knapp and VA and some other issues we're going to talk about. We've got David Moore here. You know, David's one of our county commissioners and good friend of veterans, is helping us out this morning. And we've got a lot to talk about, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. Unfortunately, you know, as every morning we start off, we do have casualties. So I'll let Dr. Knapp start with the military casualties, and then, David, you can do it, the firemen and police officers. Okay?
Well, thank you, Hank. Unfortunately, we have 2 casualties to report this morning. Corey Hood, age 32, from Cincinnati, Ohio, died Sunday, August 16th, in a mid-air collision. He earned numerous awards, including 2 Bronze Stars. The second casualty is Master Sergeant Peter A. McKenna, Jr., 35, of Bristol, Rhode Island. He died August the 8th in Kabul, Afghanistan, of wounds when he was attacked by enemy small arms fire. He was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 7th Special Forces Group, England Air Force Base, Florida.
Okay, David, I think you got the next 4.
Okay, we'll start with fire rescue. We had James J.D. Robinson, who was a fire chief who died in the line of duty August 14th, 2015. He was with the Brasstown Fire Department in West Brasstown, North Carolina. The next fire rescue one that we need to be in prayer for their families is Christopher Joe Daniels. He was a lieutenant killed in the line of duty on August 17th, 2015 at the Pine Level Volunteer Fire Department in Pine Level, North Carolina. We also have 2 law enforcement officers that died in the line of duty. The first law enforcement officer was Police Officer Thomas LaValle of the Shreveport Police Department in Louisiana. End of watch was Wednesday, August 5th, 2015. And then we have Deputy Sheriff Craig S. Wisenend of the Tazewell County Sheriff's Office in Illinois. End of watch, Monday, August 10th, 2015. If everybody could keep the family of these brave men and women in your prayers.
Okay, all of them killed in the line of duty.
Yes.
We have one local veteran, Willard Langley. Willard passed away this past week. Good guy, one of our local vets who helped us out a little bit and knew him well in the office. So sorry to see Willard go. Anybody else have anybody local they want to mention? Nobody. Okay. Larry, if you would, please.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Okay, Larry, thank you. All right, we've got a couple of organizations and businesses that make this all possible, and I know Bob Wines and the Ford dealerships are waiting to hear from us a little bit. So, Ed, would you do that for us?
Yes, Hank. We have Ocala Ford dealers serving Gainesville, Leesburg, and the villages in Bellevue. The Ford dealership offers great selection of new and used cars, financing, lease, specials, parts, repair, and service for Ford near Gainesville, Bellevue, Leesburg, Daytona, Orlando, Claremont, Inverness, Dunellen, Crystal River, Palatka, Alachua, Lady Lake, and the villages. Ford dealership is located at 2816 North Pine Avenue, Ocala, Florida. The Ford dealership has dealerships and they help with the parts and services, used cars, service repair, leases, financing, and specials. And because of their great work, we have plenty of sponsors for this program. We also have Bob Wine's Gardens and Nursery. Veterans News is brought to you by Bob Wine's Camellia Garden and Nursery, 2610 Southeast 38th Street in Ocala. When it comes to landscaping, Bob Wines has what you need, everything from small plants to large trees. They have mulch, fertilizer, and so much more. Bob Wines will even deliver, plant, and guarantee their trees. Bob Wine's Camellia Garden and Nursery has been keeping you blooming since 1952. Their phone number is 629-5766. Bob Wines also offers 10% discount to all veterans.
Very good. Okay. Well, great. That's great. You know, our friend over here, sometimes friend, Dr. Knapp, buys a lot of things at Bob Wines.
Yeah, I go over there every weekend, Ed. My orange trees I bought from Bob Wines actually are putting out oranges this summer. And if you go over there and look for Lori and her husband who run the nursery, they'll take you around, and it's like an education going through that. They'll really help you and give you good advice.
Well, that's a good point, because you can't do that in a lot of the big box stores. You know, those folks really don't know. So you go to a place like Bob Wines, and they do know, and you can ask them, and, you know, you're a steady customer. You go over there, and you know, they'll keep things green for you, right?
Well, we know where to get all our oranges.
Most of us at this table buy Fords. We know that. So we all like Fords. We're going to get David to buy a new truck.
Well, I already bought a Ford Escape at Ford of Ocala.
Very good. Very good. That's a requirement, I think. That, you know.
I guess they gave me the best deal.
Yeah. Well, the only one sitting at the table with any money is Knapp.
That's right.
We'll get him out there, and we'll get you a great deal at Ford there. I can see you in a 150. You look like a 150 man. Anyway, listen, they're two good sponsors. They're actually more than sponsors. We all know them personally, and they're good people, and they support veterans in the community. We appreciate that. Hey, listen, we got a lot to talk about this morning, and Dr. Knapp has brought a lot of folks with him. And you're going to talk about some important subjects that we don't talk about very often, but need to be talked about. So.
Yeah, Hank, what we're going to do today, we have a really exciting show. We're going to talk about a topic that no one wants to talk about, death and dying. And usually by the time we get to it, it's, you know, we need that discussion 6 months ago. But the VA has some initiatives on end of life, and we're going to talk about that. And we brought Neil Lifshutz, who's been on the radio a couple months ago. Neil is our primary care social worker, and he's involved not only at the VA, but as you know, he's involved with Vets Helping Vets in the community and does a wonderful job. Barbara Rahim, new to the radio, she's our patient care coordinator, and she interacts with all the local hospitals when the veterans are hospitalized. And if you think we've had over 1,000 veterans hospitalized at the couple of hospitals over the last year, and Barbara interacts with the hospitals.
All Bosher's patients?
And we know Hank goes to the VA and sees Dr. Basha. He's one of our primary care docs. And then John Sessions, who we've just met. John's a trauma nurse, and John has been working with hospice, so he's going to give us a perspective today as well. So thank you for being here.
Good morning. And if we could just take a little break, and we'll come back and do all of that. We've got our first break of the show. Remember, today's a full hour show. If you want to call in at any point, the number is 622-9622. We'll take a break and be right back.
Weather is brought to you by MyWC.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today with a couple of thunderstorms around, mainly during the afternoon hours over the interior, though, the high 88 to 92. Then partly cloudy tonight, though 73 to 77. But tomorrow, partly sunny. Watch out for a thunderstorm anytime along the coast, but mainly during the afternoon hours over the interior, the high 88 to 92. Saturday, partly sunny with an afternoon thunderstorm, high 90 to 94. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
on this episode of What Not to Do. Brought to you by
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
I thought I told you to call Mike Scott Plumbing to get this leak fixed.
I did call the plumbers. They were just here.
Let me get this straight. You're telling me Mike Scott Plumbing was just here?
Well, not exactly.
Well, then who exactly was here?
You know.
Is that why there's duct tape on my toilet?
Wait, I don't see any, that duct tape. Well, at least matches the grout color.
There's a reason we only call Mike Scott Plumbing. They're on time, every time. They don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. And most importantly, and I need you to pay attention on this part, they actually fix it.
Okay, so you want me to try to fix it?
Yes, I do. By calling Mike Scott Plumbing, like you should have done in the first place.
Yes, dear. What's the number again?
You really should know this by heart. 866-314-4443.
Got it. 866-314-4443.
On next week's episode of What Not to Do.
Seriously? A helicopter?
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
It's rodeo time in Ocala. The Great Ocala Shrine Rodeo stampedes back to town September 4th and 5th, 7:30 nightly. Witness America's #1 sport and the greatest show on dirt as cowboys ride to help children walk. 33 years of broncs, bulls, and babes. For tickets and information, call 352-402-8808. September 4th and 5th. Don't miss the Ocala Shrine Rodeo.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
This is WOCA, News Talk 1370.
Your source for the #1 sports weekends. Fox Sports, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning into The Source this Thursday morning. Let's return to Veterans News. Remember, it's a full hour today. We've got a good 40 minutes left in the program. If you want to call in at any time, you're welcome to do that. The number is 622-9622.
Hey, listen, before we get going, I got a couple of things to talk about. David, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. You've been kind of sitting in with us occasionally, so we've got a good county commission. You guys have been real supportive of veterans. We appreciate it. Appreciate your time here today, too. And then John over here is on his own time. So, again, we appreciate you coming in, John. You may regret it, but, let me remind you, this Saturday is the anti-bullying ceremony over there at the Livestock Pavilion at 6 o'clock. It's a boxing competition as well. And then they'll be administering the anti-bully pledge. Kids get in free if they're willing to take the pledge. And we'll be honoring a couple of law enforcement officers, resource officers of the year, both for OPD and the Sheriff's Department. So that starts at 6 o'clock Saturday and goes to about 9. I think admission for adults is $10. And, it's a good event. Come over there and support that program. There's a lot of good people involved, and you get a chance to appreciate some law enforcement people. Hope to see you out there. We're going to try to talk Dr. Nappy into doing 3 rounds with a guy named Killer. Yeah.
I'd be glad to do that if you're on the other end here, Hank.
You and George.
Finally, to get
you and George Albright.
Yeah, we tried to talk George Albright into getting into the ring, but he said, I don't need to hand out awards, so we're working on that. But in any case, listen, you got a lot to talk about. I don't want to keep on talking, so let's get to your program.
Well, thank you very much. Why don't we start with Neil? Neil, the VA has a new program going on that you've started in the clinic with Barbara on end-of-life decision-making. Can you describe what program that you've been involved in?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Well, the VA is supporting end-of-life conversation, and conversation is the operative word, is that the VA would like to begin to talk to veterans about how they would like to have their care taken care of at the end of their life. And so we are involved with a program called Honoring My Wishes, in which we are setting goals for ourselves to at least start that conversation with veterans and their families about when they come to the end of their life, how they would like their health care, what they would like their families to do, what they would like their wishes, and just to have that conversation, because like you said, it is a topic that many people are uncomfortable with. So for that thing, we are supporting that. We are on a committee with all the other outpatient clinics in the North Florida, South Georgia area, and we meet and we discuss the efforts we are currently doing within our each clinic in order to reach out to veterans and to make them more comfortable in discussing this, not only with us, but with their primary physician.
So Barbara, if I'm a veteran and I come to the clinic, how would I know whether I'm a candidate or need to be involved in that program or not?
As a veteran coming to our clinic in the Cascades, you can ask for a form. In fact, a form is furnished to you at your orientation. We do hand out a folder. And it does not have to be a form supplied by the VA. It can be any form. But you have to be a little cautious if you're moving state to state, because there are a few do's and don'ts. Each state would have their own peculiarities in terms of what would make an advance directive legal. So be aware, if you're residing in Florida, make sure you adhere to those rules. And if you reside at, say, Michigan, ensure you adhere to those. But it does not have to be a VA form issued to you by the VA. It can be any form. And the advance directive, the key word here, like Neil said, is to have the conversation started. And I think one of the misconceptions is that an advance directive is a one-time deal. It's actually a process. And it starts with a conversation with the veteran and his or her family.
So we are handing out advance directives when veterans come to sign up for the clinic.
We are doing that orientation class, and also Neil talks briefly about what advance directives are, and because advance directives, it's an umbrella which includes a living will and also a surrogate. And so the conversation is started at orientation, and if the veteran chooses to continue with that conversation, he is very welcome to an appointment to see Neil.
That's terrific. That's really good. So they get the information, they can read it, and then when they see their doctor, if you're brand new to the VA, when they see their doctor, they can start the conversation, and then if they want to, then they could be referred to the two of you. It's very good. Excellent service. Well, very good. Tell me a little bit about, there's a brand new concept, and when I was in private practice, we didn't have palliative care. We had hospice. Everybody went to hospice. What is palliative care? Do we have access to palliative care in Marion County?
We do. Palliative care is like an umbrella term. Most people who receive palliative care are going to be under hospice care, but there are other programs too that help people transition. For the most part, though, the people that receive palliative care have terminal diagnoses where they're not going to receive the aggressive treatment that they were at one time receiving for some of these aggressive diseases that they were that they were trying to deal with. So the real idea behind palliative care is just really providing comfort measures so that we can approach the end of life with dignity and without unusual or above the board suffering.
What would that consist of? So if a physician wanted to invoke palliative care to help with a veteran who had multiple comorbidities, what would that consist of as far as home visits and help and everything else?
Well, once that decision had been made by the patient and the physician, what basically tends to happen at that time is the aggressive treatments are pretty much withdrawn, and at that time, they can begin a number of different palliative care treatments, including pain medication therapies and other comfort measures that don't require those kinds of prescriptions, that the family or that nursing can offer to the patient. So there's a variety of different techniques, massage therapies or just any other number of things that can be done for these patients.
It actually gives the primary care doc an extra something in their armamentarium, because in the past we could use skilled nursing care or hospice. Now we can also invoke palliative care. So we have multiple options for a veteran who may need some help at home as well. And I have a lot of veterans in my clinic that are not quite ready for hospice, but they need some help at home. And consulting palliative care seems to fill the bridge in between. It works out pretty good. Okay, Neil, what about the 5 Wishes program, which I don't know anything about?
Well, 5 Wishes program. 5 Wishes program is actually a national program. It's an accepted practice. I believe it's the foundation of just about all hospices in the country. And it's a model in which an individual can let the family and their doctors know exactly when they're towards the end of their life, how they want to be treated. And it goes even further. The 5 Wishes is pretty comprehensive, and it becomes a good guideline in having a conversation with your family as to, as you come to the end of your life, as we all will, about what you would like. And it tells... This is the way the person tells others who can make healthcare decisions when they can't make them anymore, what kind of medical treatment you want or you don't want, how comfortable do you want to be, how you want people to treat you, and what you want your loved ones to know. Based on the family dynamics, this is why we encourage the veterans to have conversations with their families, to go over these issues. And in that way, a person not only has control of their life, but also has control over the end of their life. And there are a lot of things that people want to say to their families towards the end, and this helps assist in that conversation. I also want to mention that we at the VA also help with that conversation. So if there's any veterans out there who feel uncomfortable or feel their family members may be uncomfortable talking about it, please contact the VA. I lead these discussions often. I will be more than happy to help you have that conversation, because it is a very important conversation.
Yeah, do you also address in this situation regular wills and how to take care of their other affairs and getting things started? Because lots of times I see patients that have not even started that, and they may need to have taken care of all that in the next few months.
Right. Well, what I can help you with is to go through a checklist of things that help when you want to take care of the end of your business, your affairs. However, with last wills and testaments and durable power of attorneys, these are usually done through an attorney. These are legal documents, and let me encourage you to at least consult an attorney. There's a lot of nuances as far as last wills and testaments and power of attorneys. As far as healthcare decisions, that you do not need an attorney. You can come to the VA, the clinic here, and we can address your healthcare wants.
That's great.
Could I just, how about financial decisions? Because a lot of it, it's not just veterans, but anybody who's, getting ready to leave is usually concerned about what their family is going to be burdened with, cost-wise. Do you talk about those sort of things and sort of guide them in terms of what may be available, what cost may be available, or try to, talk about easing the financial burden on the families?
Not so much the financials. That, again, you would do with an attorney. What I can help them is to consider the areas that they would help them to address. As far as, for example, let's say you're an elderly person, and I would encourage you, while you still have your mental capacity to make decisions, that you might think long-range planning. That's something I do a lot, is long-range planning, such as starting now while you have your wits about you to have a durable power of attorney executed so that you're covered should you need that extra help. That allows your family to go in, to take care of your financial affairs, to pay your bills, to make decisions for you, and you're allowed to do that. And certainly an attorney can help you with that.
Okay. I don't know if he's giving us an obscene gesture or we have to take a break. Which is it?
Take a break, yeah.
Take a break. Okay.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio. I'm I'm Lillian Wu. Critics of the Iran nuclear deal furious over a side agreement.
The Iranian regime would be allowed to use its own experts to inspect one of Tehran's most controversial nuclear sites, according to the AP. Iran has refused access to the site for years. Republican Senator and presidential candidate Lindsey Graham says it's like letting the inmates run the jail.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland.
State Department spokesman John Kirby says
the IAEA is comfortable with arrangements.
A couple of key Democrats, Senators Chuck Schumer and Bob Menendez, previously said they oppose the Iranian nuclear agreement.
Violence in St. Louis overnight after the death of a black 18-year-old officer say pulled a gun on cops serving a warrant. And a court appearance today for the Ohio mother accused of killing her 3 sons. Authorities say she killed a 3-month-old Tuesday, another infant in July of 2014, and a 4-year-old son back in April. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Yeah, let me guess what you want. You want a truck where safety is first and foremost. One built with a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body that's up to 700 pounds lighter. That handles better than ever. That stops quicker when it has to. And has the government's highest overall safety rating, 5 stars. On all 4 sides, for every cab configuration. Oh, you want the most towing and the most payload too, right? That about cover it? That's all you want. Everything? Okay, you want the long bed or the short bed? This is the Ford F-150, and this changes everything.
Towing when properly equipped with available 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 4x2. Payload when properly equipped with available 5.0-liter V8 4x2. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR. EPA estimated fuel economy rating of 19 city, 26 highway, 22 combined MPG, 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 4x2. Actual mileage will vary. Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the U.S. Department of Transportation's new car assessment program, safercar.gov.
Ocala Aviation now has opportunities for flight instructors.
Wait, hold on, Brad, is this correct? You're looking for instructors, not students?
Actually, we're looking for both.
Well, that's descriptive.
Well, I need flight instructors because we're now affiliated with a major university and can offer 4-year degrees. Plus, we're also approved to work directly with VA students.
Okay, so a degree in what, and what's a VA student?
Well, it's a bachelor's degree in aeronautics, which includes a commercial pilot's license, and there's financial. By VA students, I mean veterans. They now have access to new benefits to pay for flight training.
Okay, so you have new opportunities for new students. What about the instructor side of it?
Well, with new students, we need more instructors.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
So, if anyone out there is a flight instructor, I want to encourage them to come see me. And if they're not an instructor but have their commercial license, we can help them become an instructor.
So they get their instructor license and have a job too.
Exactly.
So you got a lot going on. The VA, the college, and now hiring instructors and future instructors too.
Yep, so now can we get the commercial started?
Already ahead of you.
Call Brad to get your adventure started today at Ocala Aviation, 861-7484.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for 1 day. But this is a limited time offer, so stop into Sunbelt Rentals today, Northwest 27th, just a quarter mile east of I-75. For more information, just give us a call, 352-369-9101. 352-369-9101. Sunbelt Rentals. Get it done, rent it now. 352-369-9101.
We're saving thousands with Robert Palmer.
So rule number 1 is always shop around. Always shop around. If you're trying to get a mortgage, if you're trying to get the best credit card, if you're looking at student loans, cell phone bills, you name it, rule number 1 is always shop around. Always shop around.
That's rule number 1, just one more vital part of fighting back to stop being a financial zombie. Yes, you can take the mystery out of the complicated world of finances. Take charge when it comes to your money. Listen in on The Source, 96.3 FM and 1370 AM, Saturdays at 12:05.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for a truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We've got another 25 minutes left in the Veterans Program today. It's a full-hour special program. Hank Whittier is your host, and of course, Hank's special guest on these full-hour shows is Dr. Mark Knapp. And let me turn it back to Dr. Knapp since Hank has walked out of the room. Good morning again, Doctor.
Well, thank you very much. We had a lot of questions around the table, and these are difficult concepts. So let me go back to Barbara. Barbara, can you go over healthcare surrogates again, and can you change that if you have a lot of family members? How do you choose who's your healthcare surrogate?
A healthcare surrogate is someone the veteran chooses to make decisions for him or her when that veteran cannot make those decisions for themselves. It does not have to be an end-of-life issue. A healthcare surrogate can be someone, and an example, you are unconscious, you are deemed incompetent, and that can be a temporary condition. During that time, you would like a surrogate. You would appoint someone who you know and who knows you to make those decisions for you. However, in so doing, your choice ought to be someone who is very strong, someone who during this stressful time can honor your wishes, can think clearly, remain focused on what you would like to have done. The key word here is a strong person, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a close relative. It could be someone who may be away from the situation, away from the close stress, and who can objectively and at the same time remember your wishes and your personality, what you would like to have done. That's a surrogate. However, that can change. You are in charge of you. And if at any point in time you would like to change that surrogate, yes, you can.
Sounds like communication, again, is a key concept here.
Yes, it is. It definitely is.
Very good. All of us have a hard time discussing end-of-life decisions, and it sounds like we need to start thinking about that more. John, let's get back to hospice. Sure. And tell us a little bit more about who's a candidate for hospice. Do you need to be terminal, or when a patient goes on hospice, how long are they actually on hospice?
Okay. Well, Dr. Knapp, anybody with a terminal diagnosis, that is one of the keys there, can be on hospice. They don't discriminate against race, religion, or military status, or any other thing. The concept there is that they want to help the person make that transition once again as peacefully as possible. So the important thing is that they do have to be terminal, and the diagnosis is still for 6 months or less left on their life. People do make turnarounds while they're in hospice. They can come back out of it, and they can actually discharge themselves from hospice if they really feel like they want to follow a more aggressive treatment, if they think that they have a better chance. So it's really a decision that has to be made between the physician and the patient's family, which is oftentimes the situation there, as many of the patients, once they reach that stage of life, have to rely on their family's decisions because things weren't very well planned out ahead of time, which is going back to what you were talking about, ma'am. You really need a strong advocate in your life to be your health care surrogate, somebody who respects your wishes and who's going to be able to do what you want them to do with them.
Dr. Knapp, do you want to take phone calls?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you want to hear the phone calls, you'll have to put your headsets on, and if you can hear me, then I'll know that you'll be able to hear the caller. If you can all hear me, just let me know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's take the first phone call. There were a few phone calls coming in. Actually, we'll take them as they come in. Good morning. You're on the air now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes. 2 questions. If I go to the hospital, will I be discharged from hospice? And can I get radiation therapy if I'm in hospice?
Oh, good point. Good questions. And we'll ask John his experience with hospice.
Sure. So if you end up going to the hospital, I do believe that there is a temporary discharge from hospice at that point. When you're thinking about doing radiation or chemotherapy while you're still in hospice, the question comes down to the discussion between your physician and you about, exactly what is your quality of life going to be like if you decide to continue those things. There is potential that you may still do some of those things in hospice, but that's really not the point of hospice. Like if you're going to try to cure yourself, then you should be discharged from hospice, because the whole point is to make that transition into death as painless and as dignified as possible.
Okay. Thank you for the call.
Good. Thank you.
We do have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Yes. I was wondering, if I'm with hospice, can I have a family member step forward that would override my DNR and my wishes?
Oh, very good question. And we all have large families, and we've seen families fighting at the end of one's life. So we'll ask John, what's your experience with that?
My experience with that is kind of limited. I know that there can be struggles amongst family members in regards to what wishes the patient really wanted, and if you have signed off on your direct advanced directives while you were still in a competent state of mind, I do believe that those wishes do have to be respected. What is your perspective on that?
Well, as a former hospital social worker, I could tell you that the doctors and the medical staff take advanced directives very seriously, and they will look to the family for direction. But if you have put it in writing as far as an advanced directives, the hospital and the medical staff put great weight on that, because it is your wishes that you stated, and they're going to look out for your best interests. And so if another family tries to change that process, they're going to see what that person's intention is and if that is in your best interest. So I can assure you that for a family member to come in and override your wishes is a very, very difficult process, and the hospital is going to look at what you want.
Okay, thank you for the call.
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right, no more calls?
Okay, well, thank you. I was a critical care doc for 25 years, and I was at the bedside of thousands of patients who were dying. And if you want control over your own end of life, then as this group has been saying, then you need to have some communication as far as advanced directives and communicate with your family your wishes long before you get to the point where your family is arguing.
Doctor, do you have to have a copy? Does a physician have to have a copy of the advanced directives, the VA?
Very good. What are we doing as far as paperwork, Barbara, and as far as the veterans having copies and everything?
A veteran presents a copy of his or her advanced directives to us. We have it scanned. Our social worker, Neil, goes over those directions with the veteran. It's scanned into our system, so when that veteran is at any point admitted to any of our hospitals, we do have ready access to those instructions. However, it's also recommended that anyone with advanced directives can carry a little card in their wallet saying that I have advanced directives, who has it or where it is, and also if there's a surrogate, what's the name of the surrogate, how to get in contact with that person. That's a very good practice.
Very good. I did want to go back to you, Barbara, and there was some questions on advanced directives, and you and Neil had mentioned that in our orientation we are handing out an advanced directive healthcare surrogate. I'm pretty good on healthcare surrogates, but can you explain a little bit more what the guts of an advanced directive are?
Advanced directives, I'll borrow Neil's words here, where he says, advanced directives are directions that you would like carried out when your train has run out of track.
No offense, Hank.
In this direction, is it? I ran out of track 15 years ago.
We have to take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today with a couple of thunderstorms around, mainly during the afternoon hours over the interior, though, the high 88 to 92. Then partly cloudy tonight, though 73 to 77. But tomorrow, partly sunny. Watch out for a thunderstorm anytime along the coast, but mainly during the afternoon hours over the interior, the high 88 to 92. Saturday, partly sunny with an afternoon thunderstorm, high 90 to 94. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Are you in need of custom screen printing, embroidery, or promotional items? Then look no further and come visit the brand new Legacy Team Sales. LTS is conveniently located off 17th Street next to Armstrong Homes in beautiful Ocala. We offer the best prices and highest quality products for your company, team, school, or nonprofit. Whether looking for screen printed shirts, embroidered polos, or travel team uniforms, you'll be sure to find it at Legacy Team Sales. Come visit our new 27,000 square foot facility. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will assist you in every part of your custom purchase. LTS carries the hottest brands in the industry like Under Armour, Russell, Mizuno, Asics, Badger Sports, Gildan, Pacific, Ogio, and many more. At LTS, screen printing embroidery is done in-house and we guarantee customer satisfaction. Stop by, give us a call, or check us out on the web at shoplts.com. Remember the name, LTS.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost? At AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Ooh, ouch. Does pain have you glued to the couch? Yes, unfortunately it's true that every year we must get older, but that doesn't mean we have to deal with pain in our knees or shoulder. If your muscles and joints are sore, don't worry anymore. Come get acupuncture from me and you'll be pain-free. Acupuncture starts as low as $35 at a Better You Healthcare. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, at 615-5566. Stop your pain from driving you insane.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking: will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock, let's return to Veterans News with Hank Whittier and Dr. Mark Knapp.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Barbara, I'm pretty good on healthcare surrogates and 5 wishes that Neil explained. But tell us a little bit more about the guts of the advance directives.
The guts of the advance directives is to, when you are aware, competent, can make decisions before a catastrophe, is to give those instructions of what you would like happen, should you not be able to carry those out. That's the essence of it. It's what you would like to have happen. And there is a misconception, like I said before, where advance directives have to be, it's a one-time deal. It's not. It's a process. You have to start thinking. You can change your mind. You are in charge. You are driving the train at this point. And you will decide which track you would like your train to take.
Good explanation. Hank, we're signing up now 2,000 veterans a year. Right. In the Cascades, and all 2,000 are getting advance directives now, and apparently I didn't realize that Neil was talking with them and everything else. That's a lot of veterans that are getting that information.
Are those primarily new people coming into the system?
2,000 new veterans.
What are you doing with the existing ones? Are they being sort of re-educated?
As they're going over and they're seeing their primary physicians, the clinic nurse, myself, we're all talking in various stages and asking them ahead of time. That's part of the Honor My Wishes program, is that it is a drive to reach out to veterans, that if they have not had that discussion, that we're offering them a chance to have that discussion, even help them now have it.
And these are all veterans across the board, no matter what their ages may be?
No matter what their ages. We get them across the board. I do advance directives almost on a daily basis, and everything from vets who are returning from Afghanistan to vets from World War II and Korea.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, you don't have to be aged to be at the end of your life. We see a lot of 40 and 50-year-old veterans, like John was saying, who've had terminal illness. And okay, well, very good. Neil, I'm going to ask you, you've been doing this, I guess, about 3 or 4 months with Barbara at the clinic. I'm going to ask you what your experience has been and how successful have we been in referring veterans to you and getting that conversation going. Are you seeing a lot of veterans, or?
I'm seeing an increased amount, and I've noticed in the last couple months especially, as the word is getting out, not only veterans requesting to have that conversation. I think having the talk with them at orientation. You know, every new veteran that comes into the clinic goes through orientation where we explain the basic services, and that is my opportunity to explain the concept of a living will. In addition, I think the physicians and the nurses are feeling more comfortable with that, having that conversation, at least initiating that conversation, and then having them refer them to me to continue that conversation.
That's great.
So it's not the form as important as it is understanding the concept and making your own choices.
I always thought one of the biggest helps we have, or advantage in the community, is Vets Helping Vets, the VFWs, because veterans get the education. Then they go sit and have a cup of coffee over at Vets Helping Vets.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, everybody discusses these concepts. So
yeah, that's sort of the theory behind as you know, we're working on with the County Commission, we're working on a Veterans Resource Center. And that's really the idea behind it. It's not formalized, but it's a place you can go and get information and talk to other veterans about some of your concerns.
It's so important for these vets to get this information too, because there are so many services out there that they're really just not aware of at all. But resources like Vets Helping Vets and the VFW and other places really do offer, you know, good sense of knowledge of what exactly is out there.
Well, and I think there's an issue too of where that information is coming from. You know, it's one thing to go to an agency; it's another thing to go to an agency or people who have walked those steps. There are other veterans who have experienced the same experience you have, so you have that camaraderie and that understanding. And there's no question there's a trust factor involved,
sure,
without a doubt. So.
Well, John, let's move on to hospice here. You've been working with hospice. What settings in our community is hospice offered? Can you get hospice at home, or do you have to be in the hospital, or?
It's interesting. I think some people might have some misconceptions about exactly, you know, what kind of services are performed in home. You can have hospice care at home, but the nurse will come out and visit maybe once or twice a week, or maybe once a day if there's extenuating circumstances or they require, you know, more acute attention. Some people have the misconception that maybe they're out there 24/7, and that's not the case at all. If you're going to have hospice care in home, you really need to have a dedicated family network that's going to be there with the patient 24/7. Another thing to consider would be that the home setting needs to be appropriate for delivering care, because in some instances, even though that person was living there while they were in a more well state, it may not be that appropriate for them now that they're more sick. And then to answer your other part of that question is that hospice is also offered in local hospice houses, where they get attention from nurses 24/7. So if you have a family member who, you feel like is not going to be able to receive the appropriate care because, we have busy lifestyles, we have to work, then perhaps putting, your family member into a hospice house where they're going to receive the attention that they need would probably be the better idea.
Excellent. Good services. Let's move on to a couple of controversial topics. We have a few more minutes to go. Barbara, tell me a little bit about, do you have any ideas why patients and families are hesitant to discuss this, and why it took a VA initiative to really get us to push patients towards discussing this?
Well, advanced directives are, we think about advanced directives many times towards it's the end of our life. It's things that we would like done towards the end. And it adds some finality to our lives. We have to look at our mortality, and it's something, it's very taboo. However, with that said, advance directives like a living will, a surrogate, those are wishes you have in place, and it could be a very temporary condition for you. You could be, as I said prior, you're not able to make decisions at a certain short point in time. You would like to have those in place. But why it is, I think it adds finality to our lives, is one. And two, there's this perception that an advance directive, a living will, choosing a surrogate, those are one-time conversations. No, it's not. It's a process. But you have to start it. And you have to pull everyone, your entire family, they have to be on board with you, especially the key players, the surrogate, who will be in charge of your estate, those kinds of things. And there will be arguments, and there will be disagreements, but it's part of the process. And so I think coming back to the question, why it doesn't happen is because of the disputes and the finality, the end of life, yes.
It's very hard. We just did that last year with both sets of parents, and it was just very, very hard. But once we got the ball rolling, then it really took a life of its own.
Yeah.
One of the things we've tried to get through on the radio program in the last 3 years is empowerment. We want to empower our veterans to take care of their health, and this is a key process in empowerment. Neil, what about healthcare providers? I'm a healthcare provider like you, and we're famous for not referring patients or discussing this with our patients. What do you think the limitations are?
Well, I think first of all, I think the newer set of doctors that are coming out of medical school, there is a focus on a more holistic approach than there was doctors, let's say, 50 years ago. And I think the newer doctors are coming with a much more comfort level because it's being taught more. As far as physicians, physicians don't work alone. They work in teams, and the team is there to support the physician. So doctors, as they get more comfortable in speaking about these issues, will start to initiate the conversation, but knowing that they have a team to back them up is very important, that they are supported. And so I think I see that changing as far as more referrals being made to me for advanced direct discussions.
We're almost out of time, I guess. Again, if they want to talk to you, who do they call and how do they get a hold of you, Neil?
You call me at the clinic. I'm at extension 1596, and I would be very glad to meet with you.
Yeah, so the veteran, they don't have to wait until it's their turn to be approached. They can approach you and talk about that at any point in time, correct?
Anybody can refer hospice to.
Correct.
So that, a lot of times people think they have to be approached by a physician.
It doesn't even take your doctor to be referred to hospice. Right. You can call hospice.
Just go ahead and call them directly.
And we're trying to provide same-day service. So if you, Hank, when you want to come on over and do your advance directive, you just call Neil or Barbara anytime.
I'll do that. I could make a few jokes now, but you told me not to do that. So yeah.
Got 1 minute.
1 minute. Listen, I remind you again about the Amateur Boxing Championship this Saturday at 6 o'clock at the Livestock Pavilion. It's actually in the covered area, so it's air conditioned, and admission's $10 for adults, general admission, and kids are free if they're willing to take that anti-bullying pledge. And we'll be over there honoring some law enforcement people as well. And I appreciate you guys coming in. I know you didn't get as many phone calls, and it may be part of what we talk. No one really wants to talk about it, but it's something that needs to be talked about, and all of us need to do some planning ahead of time to ease that burden for your family as well. So, Dr. Knapp, I appreciate you guys coming in.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much, Hank.
I remind you that this was brought to you by Bob Wine's Nursery and Ford dealerships throughout this area of Marion County and beyond, Leesburg and Gainesville and all those other places. So, and we always have to thank WOCA. I mean, that's a requirement. It says right in front of me, don't forget that. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. As I tell you every week, appreciate your service. God bless America. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. More protests in St. Louis following a police shooting.
One suspect is dead, 9 are in custody after 2 white officers attempt to serve a warrant. Chief Sam Dodson says as the crowd scattered, the